We're getting ready today to work on determining speed and velocity, and so you'll need in front of you your calculator or something to do calculations on. You can use your phones, and the worksheet that you should have gotten from the sub. So make sure you put your name at the top of the sheet. And what we'll do is we'll work these together. I'm going to lead you through which formula to pick, but you will hit pause at the end after I give you the formula for the question, and then do your calculations, and then you can hit play again to move on to the next one, and you'll continue through the worksheet in that way. So remember that speed is a measure of how fast an object is moving or traveling, and then the difference between speed and velocity is that velocity is a measure of how fast an object is traveling, but we have to put a direction. It has a certain direction that goes in your answer. Both speed and velocity include the distance traveled compared to the amount of time taken to cover this distance. So when we look at the main part of speed, it's distance over time, and we look at the main part of velocity, it's distance over time. So basically it's the same formula. It's just that when we have the answer in speed, we put meters per second as our answer, or whatever our units are. For velocity, we will also include our units like meters per second, but then we have to have a direction like across the road, traveling north, or something like that. So watch for that when we're looking for it. So your things that you need to pay attention to is, one, what are they asking for in the calculation? Are they asking for speed? Are they asking for velocity? And it's possible that they're also asking for distance or time, which means you'll have to manipulate your formula. And then if it's velocity, you have to include your direction. So let's start with the first question. What is the velocity of a car that traveled a total of 75 kilometers north in 1.5 hours? So we're going to look first at that they're asking for velocity. So we know we're going to have a direction in our answer, so go look for that direction, and it's right here. Sometimes those directions are northeast, southwest. In this case, it's north. We also know that if we're looking for velocity, we're doing a formula of V equals D over T. And hopefully you guys will excuse my writing. It's tough to do that on these formats like this, but you get the idea. So our distance, we go look for distance. Distance is always going to be in meters, kilometers, miles. So this is our distance. So we're going to have 75 kilometers, which is K, lowercase m. Whoops, sorry. Let me get rid of this for a second. Hold on. That kilometers should be right here, 75 km. And then our slash over. And remember, I'm doing it this way just because it's tougher. It gives me a little bit more room than if I put it right over top. But you can put it right over top. And then this is our time, 1.5 hours. Okay, you cannot have any, there's a point here, make sure that shows up. You can't have any numbers without an SI unit, so make sure you do that. So then we're going to put equals. Okay, so in your calculator, you're going to put in 75 divided by 1.5, and you should come up with an answer of 50, and you're going to have kilometers per hour, and it's a velocity, so we have to include north. Okay, and hopefully your writing looks better than mine does right now. Okay, so this is what has to be included in every single one of these as we go along. Okay, so I'm not going to help you through every one, but I am going to help you pay attention to a couple of things. All right, so let's go look at number 2. What is the velocity of a plane that traveled 3,000 miles from New York to California in 5 hours? So we're still looking for velocity, so we must have a direction here. But when you quickly go and look, you don't see anything from north or whatever. So you got a couple things here. You could literally put from New York to California as your direction. Also, if you know that traveling from New York to California is west, then you could also make your direction west. Okay, so it's up to you guys how you want to do that. You can either put the west or you could write from New York to California. Okay, so this is a straight setup for velocity. You're going to use the same formula as you used up here. So pause your video for a second, set it up, and get your answer. You will work through this whole entire video, and then you can go to the front desk to check your answers. So go ahead and hit pause and do number 2. Okay, you should be back for number 3 now. This one says, John took 45 minutes to bicycle to his grandmother's house, a total of 4 kilometers. What is his velocity in kilometers per hour? Okay, so what we have to do here is we have minutes, and we have to change them to hours, and we have kilometers here, which is fine because that's what they're asking us to do. So the first thing we want to do is get this 45 minutes into hours. So we're going to change, we've got 45 minutes, and we're going to do, we want to change it to hours, so we're going to put 1 hour on top, and then in 1 hour there's 60 minutes. So if you calculate across, you multiply across the top, you're going to get 45, because 45 times 1 is 45. Go across the bottom, there's only a 60. So if you take 45 divided by 60, that changes your 45 minutes into hours. Okay, so at that point, you're just setting up a regular velocity problem, v equals d over t, and that means you're going to have a direction, and the direction will be to his grandmother's house. Okay, so again, we don't have a northeast, southwest. So I've given you the information you need to do here. They want the answer in kilometers per hour, but they gave you the time in minutes. So you have to convert your 45 minutes into hours, and you do it this way. You set up 1 hour over 60 minutes. You do 45 times an hour, 45, and across the bottom is 60. 45 divided by 60 will give you your hours, and then you set up your kilometers, which is 4 kilometers over whatever you got here as your hours. Go ahead and hit pause and finish that. Number 4. It took 3.5 hours, whoops, sorry about that. It took 3.5 hours for a train to travel the distance between 2 cities at a velocity of 120 miles per hour. How many miles lie between the 2 cities? Okay, this is something important to look at here. We're now looking for miles, and that's distance, right? So our formulas aren't set up like that. So I'm going to write some things over here to help you. So if v equals d over t, then we can switch this around to get our answers. And I've shown you guys this in class before. That's this triangle. And this triangle helps keep, you put a triangle with a capital T in the middle of it. And this will help you switch this around. So right now our formula has d, sorry for that d, over top of t, and v is over here. So our actual formula is v equals d over t. So if I'm looking for distance, because that's what it's looking for, how many miles, then we're going to do d equals, and these two are next to each other, so it'll be v times t. And later on, they're probably going to ask us for a time one. So time will equal d over v. d over v. So now you guys have the formulas to switch that around. So in this one, we're looking for distance, because it says how many miles lay between the 2 cities. So you'll take your velocity times your time. Here's your time. Here's your velocity. And because they are looking for distance, your answer will always be in miles, right? Because that's what they're looking for. So don't forget, in time, your answer will always have some time value. In distance, it will always have some distance value. In this case, your final answer must be labeled with miles. Pause and go ahead and complete that one. Number 5, how long would it take for a car to travel a distance of 200 kilometers if it is traveling at a velocity of 55 kilometers per hour? So the first thing you say is what formula to use. Well, they're looking for how long. Don't let that confuse you. How long, it says how long would it take. That's time. Okay, so you're looking for the time one now. T equals D over V. So you should automatically write your formula down so you know where your numbers go. So T equals D over V. Okay, your distance is 200 kilometers and your velocity is 55 kilometers per hour. So you're just going to write your time over your velocity, calculate it. You're looking for time, so your answer should be in hours. Okay, go ahead and hit pause and complete that one. Number 6, a car is traveling at 100 kilometers per hour. How many hours will it take to cover a distance of 750 kilometers? So we're looking for time again. So you're going to write T equals, and they gave you your distance, 750 kilometers, and your velocity, 100 kilometers per hour. So you're using the same formula to set that up. Remember, your answer should be in hours. Go ahead and hit pause, complete number 6. Number 7, a plane traveled for about 2.5 hours at a velocity of 1,200 kilometers per hour. What distance did it travel? So we're looking for distance. That means our formula is going to be D equals V times T. So you put your D equals V times T, and then your velocity is this. Remember, velocity always has distance and time in it, and your time will be this. And your final answer, because they're asking for distance, will be in kilometers. Go ahead and hit pause and complete that one. Look at number 8. A girl is pedaling her bicycle at a velocity of 0.10 kilometers per minute. How far will she travel in 2 hours? Okay, so we've got her traveling in minutes, and we need to convert that to hours. So I think we're going to skip this one. We'll go ahead and skip this one because I'd rather do this one with you in class. So go ahead and cross this one out for, well, just cross it out right here for you for right now, and we'll do that one later. Let's see. Okay, so let's look at this one. An ant carries food at a speed of 1 centimeter per second. How long will it take the ant to carry a cookie crumb from the kitchen table to the ant hill at a distance of 50 meters? Okay, so we're going to set it up normally. They're looking for time, so it's going to be time equals distance over velocity. So here's your velocity. Here is your distance. Now they're asking you to go ahead and express your answer in seconds, minutes, and hours. We're just going to do the regular answer. Okay, so since they started it in centimeters per second, your answer will be in seconds. Okay, so you want your answer in seconds. Don't worry about the minutes and hours part. Get rid of that. Okay, go ahead and hit pause and move on to number 10. The water in the Buffalo River flows at an average speed of 5 kilometers per hour. If you and a friend decide to canoe down the river at a distance of 16 kilometers, how many hours and minutes will it take? Okay, so we're going to go ahead and calculate this one. We're looking for time again. We're looking for time. So we're doing T equals D over V. Here is your distance, 16 kilometers. Here is your speed, and let's just do it again. Let's just not do it with this. Let's just go ahead and do it in hours again. So, or I mean, yeah, we're calculating in hours this time, and we're not worried about the minutes. So go ahead and set it up. You're looking for time. So your T equals D over V. Your distance, or your distance will be 16 kilometers. Your velocity is right here, and you just do your calculation. Hit pause, complete your calculation. At the end of all your calculations, remember you're only skipping number 8. You'll go to the front of the room, one person from your group, and make sure that you check your answers, and then you're turning in your paper to the sub. This is turned in by the end of the period, or you get no credit. You're going to turn in what you have finished, whether you are finished or not. Have a great day.